Don't you speak to me in that tone, young lady. Have you ever heard that saying? Don't speak to me in that tone. So tone of voice, it doesn't have to be framed in a negative way, but tone is usually not necessarily what you say, it's how you say it. You can have one sentence, say it 5 different ways, different emotions, and it'll give different meanings. Now, you can use tone to have better communication and to make sure your messages are coming across well. And we do tone of voice, so it all comes from the voice. And I want to give you a few tips on what to be aware of in your tone. Now, the first thing I want you to know is that sometimes your tone of voice you think you're expressing something a certain way, but it is received in a different way. Now, for example, my mom I remember as a little girl, she would sometimes speak really loudly to me, and then I would say to her, "Stop shouting at me." And she would say, "I'm not shouting, I'm excited. I'm speaking to you because I'm so excited." And I used to think she's shouting, so if somebody shouts, I switch off. So I want you to be aware when you may be really excited. Check in with your emotions, because you might think you're excited, but it could translate to being quite harsh and hard, and then it's... Another thing to be aware of with tone is it can sometimes reflect a person's inner self. So somebody who is quite depressed and feeling low and their emotions are down there, their tone and the voice in their tone would also be in a low and in a depressed state, and it would kind of bring everything down. And so our voices are many times a reflection of what's actually happening on the inside. Now, with tone, when somebody reacts to your tone, try to detach from the emotion. Try to, when they go, "Oh, you're speaking harsh," instead of taking it personally, just realize, I just need to flip and change the tone a little. Okay, so for example, one sentence we can say, "I am going to the shops." Now you can say that happily, "I'm going to the shops." Or you can say it with anger and frustration, "I'm going to the shops." See, so tone, if you're saying the same thing, conveys a different message. Here's one of the most important things I want you to know about tone of voice, and that is read the room. Many times we have to read the room, and that will inform us on how we can use our tone. So for example, let's say you're at a social event and you walk in on a group and you're coming with a high beat energy and a "Hello guys, la 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 la." And maybe something really serious was just being discussed, and it's quite emotional, it's quite deep. Your presence is going to feel quite overwhelming and overpowered, and it's going to be rejected. But if you read that, okay, something's going on here, and you enter with a slower, lower tone of gentleness and ease and, "Hey, is everything all right?" Then there's a softness that moment needs. I once heard this beautiful example, and I want to share that with you because it was so powerful for me. And this is, for example, the tone of a director on a movie set. So a director has a vision for what this scene needs to be able, what the goal is of the scene. So when it's a scene with a lot of energy and they need to just give it like boom, everything, they will say, "All right, action," and so it'll be action. But say it's an intimate scene, a bedroom scene, for example. The actors are very vulnerable. It's a vulnerable situation. So there might be less people on set. And right before the cameras go on, the director will just lean in softly and say, action. And then they ease into it. Same word, same sentence, different ways of saying it. And that is how you can use tone to your advantage in better communication, is through reading a room and then understanding how to apply my tone to it. Or if you've received feedback on your tone, to just adjust, not take it personally, but realize, oh, I need to adjust my excitement or my anger or my frustration or my depression in a way to connect with others.